Good afternoon, students. In our previous session, that means in the second unit, the previous session, we completed our various types of controls, that is HTML control, web server control, and the rich control, also the validation control. Today, we are going to discuss about the configuration files on our web applications. First, discuss about application configuration. First, we must know about what is meant by application. What is application? It is an interface between the user and the system. Give some example for application. Yeah, PhonePe, Paytm, WhatsApp, YouCam, TikTok, ShareChat. These are some of the Android application. Likewise, our ASP.NET here also we can develop many more web applications with the help of ASP.NET. Each and every application must have settings. We all know about settings files in each and every application. Also devices. In our mobile we have also some settings. We can change settings for our own way. Likewise, some applications also have some settings. Likewise, show the notification, the header, etc. etc. Just like here the settings are done with the help of the configuration file. Here in our ASP.NET application, the application consists of such kind of things. What are they are? Virtual web directory and pages, files and assemblies contained within the directory and subdirectories. Okay, virtual web directory. Next pages, that is web pages. Next supportive files. Next header files. They are all contained inside the directory and subdirectories of the application. We can define settings for the applications developed by ASP.NET. Also, we can write event handlers for application-wide events. They are done with a special file called the global.asax file, which contains the settings and events of web applications. Note it, students, global.asax file consists of the configuration of web application. We can change the settings and events in the global.asax files. Once you can change the settings only in the global.asax. It may update the whole application. Okay, got it, students? Next, we move on to discuss about the structure and configuration of the global.asax file. Each and every application consists of exactly one global.asax file. It is not a mandatory and it is an optional. We won't create it manually. It may create automatically while creating a web application. It is located at the root level of the virtual directory. It contains the code that compromise the security of the web browser. Compromise the security of the web server. That means it may affect the security of the web server. Why it compromise the security of the web server? It has some potential vulnerability. I think you are all well familiar in vulnerability. Yeah, in our last sum, you study the subject information security. There you may study about various types of vulnerabilities. Likewise, here also some vulnerabilities on the security of web server. This can be restricted by denying the access while the direct request of HTTP. Is there any direct HTTP request in the application, it will automatically denied because of the vulnerability of global.asax file. It consists of a code behind file also. The code behind file consists of the events which are written. That code behind file is named as global.asax.vb. Why it is extended as .vb? The code behind file is programmed with the help of the programming language Visual Basic. After that, this code behind file consists of a class named global, and it is inherit from the base class system.web.http application. Okay, next we move on to the ASP.NET page directives. It is a very important question, important 5-mark question. So please students study well. Listen students, all of you take a note and write this. Okay, take down it. Then only you can study easily. Okay, yeah. We discuss about ASP.NET page directives. Page, what is meant by ASP.NET page? It is nothing but a web page of the website. It will control, these ASP.NET page directives control the settings for the code compiler. That means such as the page settings, namespaces, that means the header file imported to the page. These are controlled by the page directives. Each page directives consist of various types of various attributes. The attributes usually specify the language for the page and what class to use for the code behind file. Here is an example. The page directory consists of the attribute language, code behind, and the inherits attributes. Here we study about 3 attributes, namely language, code behind, inherits. Here the page language is Visual Basic and the code behind file is web control button sample.vb and the base class file is example application.web control button sample. Okay. Next we move on to the various page directives. First is assembly, @assembly. It will link the library files to our current page. Next, @control. It will control the specific attributes of the user controls. Next, import. It will import the header file to the page. Next, output cache. It will control the output of a page. Next, page. It will control the settings for the page compiler. @register. It will assign a name for the namespaces used with the page. Next, code page. It will show the location of the page. Next, culture. Culture means how the template, how the page will display. That means the alignment, size, style, various. Next, description. It will provide the text description of the page. LCID, local ID code. Response encoding. It will enables the how the page will display the encoded content. Next, import directive. Import each and every namespace must be added to the page with the help of import directive. For each namespace, there must be one import. Here is an example. Import namespace equal to system.drawing, import namespace equal to our own namespace, import namespace equal to built-in namespace, that is system.net.socket. System.drawing is a namespace, your namespace is another namespace, system.net.socket is another namespace. For each namespace consists of a single import. Next, the register directives. Already we discussed about the register directive. It will specify the name for the namespaces. Next, it will come into 2 forms. That means register tag prefix equal to tag prefix, namespace equal to namespace. Another one is register tag prefix equal to tag prefix, tag name equal to tag name, source equal to the path name of the namespace. Here is an example. Register tag prefix equal to my tag, namespace equal to my company dot namespace. Another one example is register tag prefix equal to SCME, tag name equal to add rotator. Here SRC specify the path name. Okay. Next, the assembly directive. It is another way to include the references to classes in a page which will specify the library files. Each and every library files in our web applications are included in the bin directory. From our Java programming, we know about each and every class file must be stored inside the bin. Likewise, the ASP.NET, in here ASP.NET, each and every assemblies must placed in the inside the bin directory. Here is the syntax: assembly name equal to some assembly.dll. Next, the output cache. From the name itself, output cache means it will control the performance of the output performance of the application. Here is an syntax: output cache duration equal to cache time, vary equal to headers. Here the output cache consists of two attributes. What are they? Duration, vary. Duration means how long the output will be displayed in the application. It is measured in seconds. Next, the vary attribute consists of the various HTTP headers. The multiple HTTP headers are separated with the help of comma. Okay, got it, students? Study well. If you have any doubt, just ask me through our WhatsApp group, YouTube, or our Google Classroom. Got it, students? Okay. Here I conclude this session. Thank you.